Welcome to the initial broadcast of Real Insights. Today we've got we've an esteemed guest on the show today, great friend of mine and a great agent, and love to hear your story. And today we have Brian Vance of Real Broker. Brian, welcome.
Hey, what's going on, Jeff? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, awesome. So glad you could be here today. And it's been about 2 years since you joined Real Broker. So I guess first, before you jump in there to your journey, tell us a little bit about Brian and kind of your journey to date as an agent.
Yeah, for sure. So I think I've been as a real estate agent for 17 or 18 years. I sell most of my real estate on the 275 corridor and the Woodward corridor. And yeah, I mean, I've been at Real Broker. It'll be 2-year mark around June, July. So it's been quite like an interesting ride the last, almost 2 years.
That's awesome. So a ride is typically a good thing, I guess, right? You're going for a ride. But when you look at Real Broker, and I know the story, but just for our viewers that are checking this out. So, at the time, kind of tell us where you were before Real Broker, and then kind of what attracted you to Real. What was the impetus that kind of made you make the move?
So it wasn't even necessarily Real. I realized I wanted to make a change. It was whether to do my own thing, get my broker's license and just be out on my own, or if it was something else. And that something else was it finally clicked for me was the cloud brokerage. I don't know if clicked is the right way. It's like maybe like I was always looking at cloud brokerages as this bad thing, and like I didn't maybe not necessarily understand it, or didn't have the belief that they were going to be around and make it and get through the beginning phases of a new thing. And once I realized that the cloud brokerage model was something more for me, that was really interesting. I immediately kind of threw away that do my own thing and really go figure out like a cloud brokerage that I want to be at. There was one major cloud brokerage out there that obviously, I knew about. So I was really getting on that path, going down that road, which I was about to join. And last minute, I found Real, and I reached out to somebody that I was following at the time that was at Real, but previously with the other company I was about to join. And it just seemed like a really good fit in a lot of ways, with a bit about culture. The structure to me seemed better, and all of the influencers in the real estate agent market that I followed was joining Real, and that really inspired me to go that route. To take the risk with this newer company, Real Broker.
Well, that's a lot. And it's interesting because we're all over the years here we've started hearing about the cloud-based brokerage, and we're not sure how it works. We got a preconceived. And so, but when you kind of said, okay, it was like almost took 2 steps, step one being, all right, do I really want to be in a cloud-based brokerage? And I think when you looked at it, COVID proved a lot of things, and cloud-based brokerage is being, one, that it's a solid platform. And then when you're looking at it, you look at the other company that we know that's got 3 initials, and you looked at that, and it sounds like, was it just something there that you just couldn't put your finger on, that you didn't make the move there?
Yeah, at the time, I don't think I could really say what it was. I think now I can, but back then it was tough to it just didn't feel right. Mm-hmm. I know that sounds odd, but it just didn't feel right. Like when I found Real, it felt right. So I just went with my gut, and like I always have, and it worked out. And it's for the cloud brokerage thing, it's like if I wasn't in real estate as long as I've been, and I didn't regret some of the moves I did not make in the past with certain brokerages, because it was the new thing, it was different, I don't know if I would have been ready to join real, because I always stayed where it was comfortable for me, and things were fine, and I didn't take that like next step with this newer company that was out there making major changes. And I saw that from since I was in real estate since 2006. And that happened multiple times throughout my, career in real estate. So that helped me form my decision, like, too, is like, understanding, being more open-minded to cloud brokerage. And I'm really glad that happened, because it's once you really dig down deep and get into cloud brokerage world, it's amazing.
It is absolutely amazing. And I think it's, what amazed me is the time, right? We know the world is moving so quickly, but like we have access to incredible information at our fingertips that, a traditional brokerage and that model really can't provide. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. So it sounds like, though, there was not one single thing that kind of made you make the move. It was kind of more of gut feel based on your wisdom and your journey in the past. And now you've been at Real almost 2 years. What's kind of the thing now you look back on 2 years and say, geez, I'm really glad I made the move because of this?
There's a lot. Big thing is going to be culture. That's huge. And I didn't really realize that at the time. It felt like it was probably going to have good culture, but also, like, definitely one of the fears that I had leaving the office setting was losing that office setting, having those relationships. I didn't go into the office every day. I would say that I did, but I didn't. It was maybe once, twice a week, going into the office. And if you run into some agents that and your friends, like, that was nice. That was awesome. So that was definitely, I was bummed out on losing that. And I really expected nothing to resemble that at Real Broker. I really did not. And when I joined Real, and it took a while, like, I realized, like, maybe a few months, and I started digging into the Real Academy, which is where basically, the top agents of the company go on there and teach classes with, trends and tactics that they use, for their business and what they do to have success, right? And then they go out to this Real Academy, they get on a Zoom, and they teach the brokerage. These are happening at, like, I don't know, what would you say, Jeff? Like, probably like 5, 6, 7, or 8 a day.
Yeah,
And
which
you
is
can just
just
hop on and just
it
like,
just nonstop.
yeah,
I mean, I didn't mean to cut you, but it's incredible because there's a lot to unpack there. So when you look at what your move was, it's like, okay, so you're thinking about, as we kind of all been there. It's like, gosh, I've got this office. I produce some deals maybe because I've hung out with some of my peers and friends in there, and it's good. And you're kind of looking at that culture, and also you come to Real, and like, that's not going to happen at all, right? Because there is no office. It's cloud based. And so when you come over, though, it's like, I guess, it's eye-opening because there is no culture. But then your point is, like, instead of a traditional office, it's Real Academy, right? And it's like the difference between the two is like is great. And it's like you mentioned, like, we know, like, many brokerages will host, a how-to, right? A whatever it happens to be. Hey, you want to try this? And it's maybe a once a month, and it's going, and the turnout's always terrible, right? But at Real Academy, you literally can, whatever your desire is, right? You can, whatever your interest is, you can find something in there.
yeah, and I mean, like, when I was, like, at the old office setting, like, I loved getting together with an agent, talking business, and it got me motivated, right? Now it's like, I honestly had no intention to do any of these academy classes at Real. Now I mean, every week I'm scheduling them out, right? So, like, I'm consistent. I'm doing at least 4 or 5 a week.
That's the
Sometimes,
way to do it. That is the way to do it.
it's you hop on the Zoom, and I can't even say that it's 10x like what we've experienced at offices. I think it's more like 100x. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
you get to network and, collaborate with people all around the country and Canada. And it's
Yeah.
like that's incredible. So it's like the reach is so much further, and what you're like learning from these agents around different major cities around the country is just, it's incredible. And that you get to network with them and talk to them, ask them questions. And like we've that before this, that was never a thing. That was never
Yeah.
possible.
Well,
So like,
it's just the time's not there, right? So it's like, let's just say that you wanted to either learn about something or best practices or whatever it happens to be. If it's YouTube, if it's the NAR settlement, whatever it is, you're going to go to a traditional office setting, hope that you run into someone, or maybe you signed up for a class there, or maybe there's a workshop at your office or your market center. Well, now it's like you can get all this information. So it's just
yeah,
it's kind of like almost symbolic of the whole model, right? Meaning everything is just time compressed, right? The world's moving so fast today that now you can take like all this knowledge you want to get, and within, I don't want to overstate it, but literally within like in a week you could become an expert on something, or you could network and interact with more agents than you ever could have in a market center, right? So like a great office, maybe say you've got 100 agents in an office, it's always the 80-20, right? You're gonna have 20% of the people there, and you might have relationships with a few of them, but just you're only getting the knowledge of that small amount. Well, here, 17,000 agents, one reel, one culture, all swim in the same direction. I mean, the amount of information you can get and the learning that happens can happen just so fast, which is incredible.
yeah, it is. I mean, and again, like I had no intention, no desire to really get involved in any of that when I joined. I didn't, I didn't even know what it would be like. I honestly just did not. And
Yeah.
like I said, it took a few months, and I started digging in on them, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. So
So yeah, it's funny because like I always say we don't know what we don't know, and I think that's like we and to come in and have that, like you look at this, not to put words in your mouth, it's like you kind of look and say, okay, yeah, it's a nice plus, Real Academy. But then when you get into it and you just see it and you do it, and then you're doing it, which is phenomenal. You're doing it consistently week after week. The networking and the learning just tend to multiply. And I agree with you. It's not a 10x multiplication. It really becomes a 100x, which is key. So, but in a shifting gear, so beyond the culture, which is kind of one of the big benefits of Real. What else? I guess what else now, looking back in this 2 years, say, geez, I'm really glad I made the move because of this, beyond the culture.
I mean, I think a lot of people want to ignore this part of it, or a lot of realtors want to ignore this part, but like the financial benefit, like
Mm-hmm.
in the package, like it's sometimes we just like, we want to not think about that, but it's just at the end of the day, like we're doing this to provide for our families. Like we really
Yeah.
are. We're selling real estate to provide for us and our families. That's why everybody works, right? So at the end of the day, like that does matter. And to me, it gave me a lot, and I didn't realize how much it was going to give me when I started at Real. So it's been a lot better than what I anticipated.
Yeah.
Um, and it's the whole package that like these cloud brokerages are able to provide, right? So stock in the company, revenue share, just better splits. So it's just a lot better of a model than what a franchise or a traditional brokerage can offer.
I think you almost by definition they can't offer that package because it is a traditional model versus cloud-based. And I think you nailed it earlier. So many of us as agents were so focused on that top line, right? So it's how many more houses can I sell? How much more volume can I do? And really trying to grow that way that we never really take the time to say, all right, this is actually, I'm working to, like as you said very well, I'm working to put, food on my family's table. I'm looking to make money. We're looking at kind of that bottom line, right? So it's like this, we get so focused that we kind of miss that, oh yeah, my broker still takes, 90% of every deal. Well, it's like, well, kind of stop, pause, right? Or it's like, yeah, my cap is, X, whatever it happens to be. And it's like, well, what am I getting for that number? And really to take a look at bottom line as opposed to top line. And then at Real, it's really kind of both, right? Because as you said, it's revenue share, other streams of income beyond that. And And why don't you kind of just share a little bit about the stock program and the kind of way that works as an owner, because many agents are not owners in their brokerage, or they're and if they are, it probably doesn't really pale in comparison to what Real can offer. So kind of describe the stock plan in general.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways that you can get stock within the company. Um, I off the top of my off the top of my head right now, it's like I'm thinking like when you cap at the company, they're giving you issues of shares right then. You can choose to opt into a stock purchasing program. So that might look like something like where your 5% of your commission check goes towards stock, and they're going to bonus it. Maybe I forget where the percentages are, but maybe it's like 20%. And then after cap phase, maybe you're putting 10% of your commission check towards stock, and then they're going to bonus it 20-30% on top of that. So there's a lot of like ways like that. There's for attracting agents to Real, you're going to get issued shares of stock. I know there's a handful of other ways, but then the big ways is if you become an elite agent. So if you're selling, around 25 to 30 houses per year, you're a good chance you're going to become an elite agent at Real. And what they're doing is they're going to reward you with $16,000 in stock if you hit that status.
Yeah.
On top of that, you're able to teach in the academy. And if you teach in the academy once per month about something that you can give back to the community with agents, teach them how you've succeeded at, being able to do that much production. If you do that once per month, it's an additional 8,000 in stock as well. So it's, it adds up.
I think that's exactly right. It adds up. And I think I had this conversation with someone this morning, and it's like, because it's one Real, right? It's one company. It's like, I always say to someone, we're all going to make a move for different reasons, right? We're all at our brokers for different reasons, right? Because of whatever it is, right? The value prop they can provide us. But I think at the end of the day, the way I've kind of described the whole package of Real to anyone that's considering it is focus on growing your business, right? That's first model. Grow your business, right? Figure out how, get with a broker that can help you grow your business, right? And have that start. And then Real can do that, right? Now it's up to you to grow your own business. But then if you do, other things just kind of dovetail behind, right? So to your point, you start doing 25, 30 deals a year, you're an elite agent. That stock comes, right? And you work your way to a point where you get that. And that's really, I think, the biggest thing, right? Where it's like, just keep doing what you're doing, grow your business. And then all of a sudden now you wake up at the end of the year, it's like, okay, I've got X amount in stock. I've been able to get some revenue share because I'm helping the company grow by attracting other agents or at least sharing my successes with other agents to come on board. And I think that's the surprising thing, right? Because it's like a lot of times if we're just looking at this as, okay, here's Real, here's our cap, and here's this, and here's that, all that's great. But at the end, it's like, that's still not going to change your business. And I think that's where other cloud-based brokers maybe miss it, right? It's like they're focused on other ways. Here, it's like focus on growing your real estate business. Oh, and by the way, if you grow it and help grow the company, you're going to be rewarded. And I think that really is the key here. In a little bit of time, you just get that. And then to your point on the elite agent, it's a powerful add at the end in the way that, and again, this is maybe a topic for another conversation, but, you end up getting an elite agent, you have a situation where our cap at $12,000 becomes negative, meaning Real is paying you to be at the brokerage there, in essence, depending how you look at it.
I do not, like, honestly, with where I'm at now, I do not pay the broker. Really, yes, does money go towards the broker, but what I'm receiving back from the broker, I'm not paying them anything, right? With the downline revenue share and stock in the company, I'm not paying them anything really. So it's powerful, and I'm all right with sharing this too. It's like, because it was hard to believe. Like our state broker, he told us, like, just wait till you're in the company for a year or two and see where things are at. And I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. I'm going to like it. But I didn't realize what he meant by that. And then, like, now I do. And it's just, like the last I looked, I have 140,000 plus in stock. Like it's, with less than 30,000 of that being my own money that was in the stock purchase program. So it's like
That's
that's
2 years.
a changer. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
less than 2 years. It's less
yeah.
than 2 years. So I haven't even hit the
That's,
second year elite yet. So that's less than 2 years. And that's huge. Like that's where I was working at, traditional brokerages and just I never got anything like that. So
well, and I think that's the key is that you're a walking example of the model, right? So you've grown your business, you get rewarded. And in today's world where it's, we're obviously seeing a lot going on. We're in the news lately. We're seeing, potentially commission compression. We're seeing fewer deals. We're going to see fewer agents. We're seeing I don't want to say a tougher market, but it's definitely a smaller market. And, the professionals will thrive, but it's even now more important to really have other streams of income and really to build a solid business, not one that's just based on an upmarket. So
yeah.
I think you're exactly right. So now here, you kind of just to kind of close out this conversation, if anyone here is thinking about Real, you got an agent that's out there and thinking about Real, kind of what would you tell them in terms of, not only about Real, but kind of what the processes of and the thought of switching brokerages? How would you kind of tell an agent to kind of make that to go through that process?
Well, reach out to somebody at Rio. So like if you're watching this video, us, reach out to us. I mean, you can, we can help you as much as possible. But yeah, it's definitely, it's scary to change something that you've been used to. But there's so much, like right now, like you can access the academy for free. So you can see what that's all about without even joining Real.
Yeah.
And
I would highly suggest that. But sorry
yeah,
to jump in. I would
no, yeah,
highly suggest, to anyone that's looking at is going to the academy, just see. I mean, at that point, you're going to see the culture, you're going to see everything else. Obviously, if you're looking at any brokerage, you're going to find out what the compensation model is like and those. But really go in the academy and see what so you can see the culture in action.
yeah. And it's like, we have wealth plans now that we can shoot out with tons of information. Our president, Sharon, does breakdowns of every step of the company within that wealth plan. And you can compare how much money you're making, at your current brokerage, and then also how much you can make at Real. So you can literally plug the numbers in and compare. So that's really cool. Like Jeff, you can send that out to, agents whenever they request. So it's, like that's huge. Just like start going to the academy, see if it's a place for you. Like if it's an environment you want to be around, because if it's not a good fit. But if it is something you're really interested in and you want to be around, yeah, you should definitely dig down, look at the numbers, look at the rest of the company. It's been an incredible journey so far. I'm so pumped for the future with this company. Way better than I ever thought it would be. I really just came here in the beginning to get a little bit of a financial benefit, and it's so much more than that.
It is. And I think you nailed it, because like when you're, if any of us that have gone through this, and we probably obviously all have or all will, and that's switching brokerages. When you start looking at like the financial stuff, right, and the numbers there, the story of Real is very compelling. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, the first thing I always ask agents that are thinking about this is, what is your current brokerage providing to you today? And you're paying them X. What are they providing? And it's tough on agents to answer that question. The financial part is almost easy, but like any change, like you said, is kind of scary. But then the part is, it's people make moves for not always financial reasons. They make move really, it's an intangible, right? Or it's things that are just, maybe for their own reasons. And that's why I say get into Real Academy. We know the numbers make more sense. We know the financial gain is going to be there big, right?
Yeah.
And we're saying that the culture is unique. But you'll see if it's a fit for you. Go into the academy, do it. And I think that's when people will come out and say, I got it. This is the place for me. So,
yeah.
Well, Brian, I want to thank you for joining us today. Anyone here that's kind of watched this video, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Social media, or, even you could shoot me a call too, but social media, you can go to Instagram or Facebook, Brian Vance. And then on Instagram, it's at brianvance.michigan.
Awesome.
So.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, that sounds good. Thank you very much. Again, congratulations on your almost 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And I want to thank everyone today for watching, and we'll see you on the next edition of Real Insights. Have a
Cool.
great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, Jeff.